Imagine all women earning enough to support themselves and their families, breaking the cycle of poverty. Imagine everyone in California having access to affordable health care. Imagine every girl growing up believing that her future is filled with opportunities. Imagine women holding at least 50% of elected offices. Imagine everyone, regardless of gender expression or who we love, leading full lives with equal rights. Imagine all immigrant women having full access to the privileges our country offers. Imagine all of us aging with dignity and economic security. The Women's Foundation of California imagines this future and fuels the short-term victories that keep us on this path. We partner with the women and men who work each day to realize this vision: community-based leaders and organizations, donors, funders, corporate leaders, legislators. Connecting California 2010 is about building a unified movement to achieve this visionary future for our communities. We gathered to ask how to make California a better place in the next 10 years. What change do we want for the state? What do we need to get there? Here are some of the paths and possibilities we explored.
A state budget system that includes some budget reform and fiscal reform, because the programs that we all care about, the programs that impact low-income women and their children, are being eroded.
I would like to see a distinct improvement in the economic and health security of all generations.
Something that I love about California is how diverse it is. It's just has like millions of cultures and languages, and it's so dynamic, and people see that as a negative. Like people aren't integrating, that people don't want to be part of society, and I think people do. It's just wanting that connection and figuring out a way to connect across languages, races, genders, you know, like they want it. It's just not knowing how.
I'd also like to see vast improvements in our education system. I'd like to see particularly people of color, the graduation rate, for that to significantly improve, because that's our workforce of the future.
Well, being that I work with young mothers every day, I would love to see our society and our community really supporting young mothers and being the best parents that they can be, so that there won't be so many children inside the system.
One thing that comes to mind, because the Prop 8 trial is going on right now, is marriage equality, which I think has a lot of economic benefits for women in California. So I feel like that's the thing that's most on my mind at the moment.
I'd like to see an end to the legislative partisanship that's taking place in Sacramento. And I think what that's going to take is new leadership. And I think that's critical.
I would like to see more work done on environmental justice or reproductive rights or just human rights within our communities. And I think that's going to be done by grassroots organizing.
Since 2005, we have worked on defeating parental notification initiative. One of the changes that we would like to see for California is a change in the initiative process that we have here. We think it's really unfair that this is the fourth time that organizations like ours and other communities throughout California are having to spend resources and mobilize to defeat an initiative that's already been defeated 3 times before.
Well, we need to stop cutting our budget and cutting programs. I think that's a huge part of it.
And to do away with the 2/3 majority to pass a budget for the state. And I think we're not going to be able to move forward. We're always going to be in a deadlock until something happens that alters that balance of power.
Young people need to also believe in the power and the potential that they have in being leaders and take ownership of that.
We need to revisit Proposition 13 and the devastating effects that it's had on our education system in California.
We need to make education a priority, and we have to be more respectful of each other's views.
We need to build a broad coalition, a movement, a social movement which links across the generations and understands how the future of our society really depends on the strength of our youth, their education, their opportunities in this gorgeous state.
A lot of the organizations I work with in small communities are not nonprofit. They're just groups of people that get together and form an organization to better their communities. And I think that money really needs to be filtered down to organizations.
We will get there by organizing. I wholeheartedly believe that community organizing, that the leadership development of low-income mothers who are directly impacted by the loss of services, having their voices elevated, these moms are what's going to turn this around.
So I really think by supporting young mothers in raising their children right, we can stop generational incarceration and stop the prison systems from being so rich.
How to get there, boy. I think it's a huge combination of private citizen initiatives, government initiatives. The philanthropic sector certainly plays a role. I think it's going to take all of us thinking creatively and doing things differently. What we've been doing so far has gotten us where we are, which is not a great place to be. So creativity, open-mindedness, collaboration, cross-sector involvement, more inclusive participation of all sectors of society.
I am a big, big believer in dialogue and bringing people together, and I think the answer is in the group, in the larger group of the population of California, and in smaller groups of 3 and 4 people and 10 people and a zip code.